Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's reads. For the main part of the reads, I'm going to be using the Thelema tarot deck. I feel like there's another way to say it, I just don't remember it. There's a website at the bottom if it focuses. Feel free to check that out. I think if I can get a little closer, loscarabeo.com. Hopefully I didn't misspell that. It's right there on the screen. So use whatever it says there on the screen, use that if you want to find this. Supportive Oracle Cards. Spellcasting Oracle Cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lisbeth. There are their full names, and on the back here are some websites for them. Feel free to freeze frame and check out whatever's interesting to you. The last one is She Who Is Art. That one always pops out to me. In fact, maybe if I get that a little closer, you can see them a little better. And of course, I use dice. So, where does it show it there? There's a website. It's from Amazon. They're metal dice, and I use the 20, the 12, and the 4. I use the 4 for the elements, the 12 for the minor arcana, and the 20 for the major arcana, which obviously leaves out 21, but still, that's the one I use. All right. And on to your reading. Hello, Virgo. Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. Let's see what we got for Virgo. Okay. So, this is interesting. Where this is coming from is the Moon card, which is a lot of times a mystery. This could be a lot of things that are... Like, when this started, you didn't really believe in it. Whatever this situation is, it's kind of like, that sounds nice, but... It's kind of like, I feel Virgos tend to be very grounded. So it's almost like somebody saying, oh, I want to order a restaurant one day, and this, that, and the other thing. And you're like... Have you been saving up for it? Well, no. Do you know where you want it? Well, no. And you're like, well, it's nice to have dreams, but if you're not putting any effort into making them happen, that's nice. Something like that, where this came forward like there's a possibility, but it was so lacking a base or lacking any work towards this possibility actually happening that you didn't really take it too seriously, but you may have looked at it like, oh, that's nice, and I like it, and it would be great if it did happen, but I don't see any foundation here. It just sounds like a lot of nice thoughts, a lot of nice dreams, but I'm not just going to sit here and dream my life away. I want to actually make something. I want actually something tangible to come out of my time. So I'm not gonna go with that. So when this situation started, I feel like it just sounded more like fantasy than reality. As it keeps coming forward, it started with something you didn't take too seriously. It's coming around again. But this time, it's the King of Swords bringing it around with the Page of Swords. So it's kind of like something else has developed here. So if we're going to use that restaurant analogy, now this person is like, here's the cuisine I was thinking I would do, and this is where I found this place. This place is like available, and I've learned this, and I've learned that, and this is the type of thing that I think would work there, and this is why I think it would work. More information is coming in now. A lot stronger. There's a lot more of a stronger thought behind the situation. And the two of these together is very kind of like, it's making me question, like, are they actually going to make it happen? Or is it just something they're really kind of, it's almost like, is it like fantasy football, if that's fair? Something they put a lot of work into, but when it comes to actually putting into real life, they're maybe not thinking they're going to do that. Like, I feel like I'm not really convinced that they're going to make it into reality, but I'm like also at the same time looking at this like they've put a lot in there and this actually could start happening, and I'm kind of wondering, is this something that I want to do? And I'm like, if I start pushing this forward a little bit, it could happen, but do I really want that to happen? There's like 3 people here. Who's the third one? This might be why you're considering it too, because you might have a connection or know somebody who actually can help make this become a reality. Judgment, half in, half out. 7 of Pentacles, half in, half out. Which makes me feel like you could have another person coming into the situation, but you're going to have to convince them of what this does for them. You're going to have to like show them the value to them. The Hierophant wants to see the value that you are going to, share with them, or why should they be a part of this? What are they going to get out of it? I feel like that's what this is. Not in a negative way, but kind of like they might help this, they might invest in this, they might help push this forward, but what are they going to get out of it? If they put in all this effort and all this maybe funding, how is that going to return to them? Where is this going to, you know what I mean? Basically, I feel like Virgo's going to instantly understand what needs to be said there. There's a nervous energy there, because you take this very seriously. If you pull this person in, it's kind of like, well, you take it very seriously that this needs to actually work. You're not asking somebody to move into this situation or become a part of it if you think it's going to fail. And it's kind of like, I don't want to end up on bad terms with the Hierophant if this doesn't work right. So it's kind of like, I feel like you're pushing back to wherever the idea came from, and you're like, let's build it some more. Let's get some more information. Let's make sure that this actually, will hold water. The energy, this is nervous energy here. Like nervous energy. You have a possibility to bring something forward on your terms. It's going to need to start moving forward soon, but I feel like the building plan and the putting the structure together correctly is here. There's enough here to build from that success feels more inevitable than ever before. If it's going to happen, this is the time for it to happen, is kind of how it feels to me. The question is, are you going to move forward on it, or are you going to walk away from it? It's going to take a third party. In some connections, this might be like getting a loan, or like presenting a business plan to somebody who would fund a situation. Could be like through the bank, could be a few different things. But definitely there has to be some proof or more building of the plan. And I get like a business plan would make sense. If you're going towards that road, I would just look up what business plan is, because that's literally a thing. And if you're not familiar with it, that is. There's advice here going forward. Who are you connecting with is the question. Because I feel like somebody's bringing forth an idea again, and they have more developed the second time around. Is this somebody that you genuinely like? You got the man holding a heart, and you got the Chariot. This does not have to be a romantic connection with this person. It's just, even if it's a friendship or a family member or whatever it is, could be a coworker at this point. Do you actually like being around them? Do you like working with them? This is one of those things where it's not just that, but for example, if we're going to use the restaurant analogy, say they want to make this type of food, and you're like, I'm okay with that type of food, but I really like this other type of food. You're going to have to incorporate more of what you like in there. More of what you like and more of what is interesting to you needs to be incorporated in there. That's the advice to go forward. You got to tie more things in that you love. Not just that it's a great idea, not just that it could work, but more like the restaurant idea. Like, not only like the type of cuisine, but like, where is this place? Do you like where it is? Do you like how it looks? What type of colors and imagery do you want in this place? You know what I mean? It's got to be more to where you actually go to this place and you like being there. The more you can tie into that, the better this is going to go for you. And they're really highly, highly pushing for that. Whatever the situation is, you got to put more of your flavor in, more of what you love in, if this is really going to work to its optimal moment. What they're warning against not doing, which is ironic in my opinion, don't try to do what everybody else wants to do. Don't be over agreeable. The cornucopia is here telling me you could have a good outcome, but by bartering what you like and what somebody else likes too much, it's going to become one of those situations where after 5 to 6 years, you're going to feel like you're kind of stuck in it. And it's kind of like it may be doing very well, but you're not really, you're like, like I just feel like I'm kind of stuck with it. I don't really want it as much as I thought I would. I feel more stuck with it than anything else, if that makes sense. The best thing I can think of is like, if I'm going to use the restaurant analogy, like if it was like bland food and a very plain, like there was nothing, like everything was white and gray And it was just like basic dishes, like hamburger. Like to me, a hamburger is a basic dish, and maybe like something else, like a side of pasta that's with just basic marinara, just basic carrots, all this basic stuff in a bland place. It's just kind of like, it's not bad, but I don't really get excited about going. Versus if your flavor is in there, maybe it's got some Italian food, it's got some Mexican food, it's got some other, Oriental inspired dishes, it's got all this different flavor, and then maybe there's different, like the way the place is decorated, there's a lot of different art on the wall, the ceiling is decorated a certain way, the walls maybe are complementary but different colors, and it's just like, it's a very beautiful place to be, and you love being in there. It's like, it's that will make the whole difference in this situation for you loving it versus feeling like, well, I mean, it's working. It's kind of like, yeah, I guess it works, but I don't love being there. One of those things. If you put your flavor in now, you can really, really love this. If you don't, I just feel like you're going to get to this spot where you're going to feel like you're stuck with it. Like, I just feel like I'm stuck. You got to make sure your voice is heard. And I would recommend for Virgo, for this situation, making a list of what's most important to you and putting it in order. It makes sure I don't feel like you're going to have to argue, but keep repeating the top 5 things. Keep repeating the top 5 things you want. Keep repeating that. Even if you feel like it's starting to become obnoxious, be obnoxious. Be obnoxious. I'm getting like, be obnoxious. Like, until they start like reiterating back that, okay, this is how we're doing that, and you can see proof that what your top 5 things are showing up in the situation, until that moment, keep repeating it. Be obnoxious, because I feel like it'll make a very good, it's like, it doesn't have to be very difficult, just make sure you keep repeating it. It doesn't mean like every 5 seconds, but like, say you're hanging out with this person 3-4 times a week. Every time you see them, oh yeah, I was working on, and then the 5 things, or just however you need to put those 5 things in there. Every time you start working on this situation, like during that day, at least once during the day, bring up those 5 things. So this person, like, there's no way they don't know. That's the balance you want to do, because whoever you're working with is already getting a lot of what they want. You got to put more of your flavor in. I'm getting, if you're, see, you got the balance with the adjacent abilities or adjacent possibilities. You got to make sure that you get the room you want. Like, there's a lot of rooms here. You got to get the one you want to really love what you're going to have. It's the difference between, like, yeah, it works versus I love being here. And if you're going to go through this and make this investment and do this situation, you want to love it to the point where you're like, I can't wait to be there. And that possibility is here. The more flavor you put in, the more likely you're going to get it. And that's all the work you have to do. You don't have to wish or wonder. You got to put that work in. Be obnoxious. The top 5 things. Be obnoxious with those top 5 things until they're cemented in and locked in. And even when they say they're going to happen, you just keep checking to make sure they are there. You don't let go until you're tangibly in your hand. Is there anything else? All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email. jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.